accident, you know it's no walk in the park. Car repairs, medical bills, and lost time from work all add up. And if the insurance company isn't paying their fair share, you have to cover the rest, even if it wasn't your fault. That's why you need an advocate. Call us today, and we'll do everything we can to get you moving again. Come on.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on your YouTube machine. Hell yeah, it's Thursday. It feels like Thursday of next week already. I want you to know what kind of show this is going to be. We were watching Wedding Crasher clips before the show started, so good luck to everybody. The Monty Show is presented by our friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Thing I love about The Advocates is they understand that when you're coming to them in an injury case, it's one of the worst days of your life. That's why they're never going to say, hey, scratch us a check. We'll talk to you then. No. The Advocates never ask you to pay them up front. There are no consultation fees. There are no retainers. In fact, you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Chat with an injury attorney live online for free at theadvocates.com. Hope you are exceptionally well. Thank you to everybody who watches this show. A record-setting week on the show so far. Really appreciate all the support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for becoming a member. Again, we announced it yesterday. We are now in the 1 percentile. We're the 1 percenters.
Yeah.
That's right. Tax cut, please.
Yeah.
We are the 1 percenters as far as membership on YouTube. Really appreciate you guys supporting the show. And in that vein, let's get right to work on the latest in Pac-12 expansion, because I think this is a huge update. The Pac-12 essentially making it known yesterday that they are going to pause their efforts in expansion while they pursue a media rights deal. And this is the first time I can say through all of this latest round of Pac-12 expansion drama, this is exactly the right thing to do, because we did a lot of work yesterday. We talked to a lot of people involved in the TV industry and Pac-12 expansion, and we were told that this is a strategic move to help leverage more expansion for the Pac-12. And as we've reported exclusively on this show, the number one hurdle that the Pac-12 is facing, and this applies to the AAC, who we're going to have more on here in a moment, the number one hurdle that the Pac-12 is facing in gaining new membership is that they are giving estimates. And as we've told you, they have estimated between $10 and $15 million in revenue per school per season. And if you go back to what Dr. Ed Scott, the athletic director at Memphis, said the other day, essentially, hey, they couldn't tell us how much money we were going to get per year. That's not going to be good enough. And now we know, now we know that the Pac-12 has put a pause on expansion to go and get that media rights deal. Let's be unequivocal. Let's be really clear. This is exactly the right move by the Pac-12. It is exactly the right move at exactly the right time, because we also talked to a lot of sources very close to the AAC. And I want to bring some clarity to the situation in the AAC, because I think this is a very important conversation. Is the Pac-12 done with AAC members and offering them spots in the Pac-12 for expansion? And the simple answer is no, they are not. But what is now the new hurdle in getting Memphis, Tulane, USF? By far, as we've reported first on this show, what is the biggest hurdle between the Pac-12 and those three schools? Well, now the biggest hurdle is that those three schools have signed a letter of intent to remain in the AAC. The biggest question is that letter of intent binding? And the answer seems to be, well, we don't know yet. You'd have to ask a judge. And it seems like that's the biggest question for the Pac-12, because Memphis, Tulane, USF, everybody else in this league signed a letter of intent to stay in the conference. What that has allowed the AAC to do, according to sources close to the situation, is go out and leverage a renewal of their TV rights deal, go out and fund their conference with private money, which I am told is the absolute number one priority of every member and Tim Pernetti, the commissioner of the AAC, to go out and leverage private funds, which is now what they are doing. Here's where the Pac-12 comes in, because the Pac-12, and you may know this already, the Pac-12 is working with a firm called Navigate. Navigate is leading multiple dozens of institutions and conferences. I don't know, like the Pac-12. Navigate is representing the Pac-12 in conversations with other members to join the conference. So Memphis, Tulane, USF, every other target in Pac-12 expansion is getting calls from Navigate, according to our sources. And why that is significant is Navigate has led many universities to, hey, have this conversation. Here's where you should go in media rights. They are one of the top consulting firms in all of college football. And as much as we've heard about Endeavor in the Big 12, Navigate works with multiple members of the Big 12. Navigate is carrying significant influence across college football. And I am told that Navigate remains engaged with Memphis, Tulane, and USF. And that conversation, it was described to me, is all about, hey, well, what if we are able to get $15 million in a media rights deal? Those are the conversations I was told late yesterday are happening with Navigate, the Pac-12, and AAC members included in those conversations. So this isn't over by a long stretch. And as critical as we have been on this show about Pac-12 expansion and the way that they have gone about this pause in expansion efforts to add new members does not mean that they are not continuing those conversations. What it means is the Pac-12 is now singularly focused on getting further down the road with a new media rights deal so that then they can go and make fresh offers to Memphis, Tulane, USF, and other targets that they have expansion on their expansion list. And Jake, I think this is absolutely the right way to go about expansion for the Pac-12.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, the Pac-12 is just simply trying to remove barriers here, right? Trying to remove things that are in their way that are preventing them from getting to where they want to go. Now, I think there's been a lot of conjecture about this letter of intent and what it means and, how impactful it is. And it is true. We don't know if it is binding. We don't know just how tough it would be to get out of that. But I think what we do know is that the Pac-12 seems to be very much on the same page with other schools that it's targeting for expansion and why they're not interested in the opportunity currently and what it would take for them to be interested. And I think that's the part of this that stands out to me, because when I think about, how business is done and, how things get done, when there's something standing in the way, the first step to getting past that is both sides of the conversation or both sides of the table being on the same page about what it would take to get it done. It's very much like, in my opinion, like buying a car, right? Like, hey, you go in to buy a car, you know what your number is, and the dealer knows what your number is. Are they going to get to that or not? And that's kind of what this is, right? Memphis, Tulane, and USF all have a pretty good idea of what it would take for them to be comfortable to go to the Pac-12 just as individuals. And the Pac-12 has a good understanding of that. So going into a media rights negotiation, that allows them to say, okay, we need this much if we want to get to where we want to go. And so I think, yes, that's why this is smart. And I think that, getting a media rights deal done is not an easy thing. I think a lot of people just assume that it's, it's just a gimme situation that, oh yeah, they're going to get a media rights deal and it's going to be perfect and they'll get the money they want and it's all going to be, it's all going to be kosher. And I think that it's dangerous to just assume that. I do believe they're going to get a media rights deal. What I'm not sure about is, are you going to get a media rights deal that allows you to go out and add these members from the AAC or anywhere else, any member that you would be looking at for the Pac-12? That's what I'm a little bit hesitant on. I think they'll get a media rights deal. I feel good about that, but I don't know that you're going to get, 12, 15 mil a year per school. And that's the part that's difficult, because if you're stopping expansion now, that obviously then means that when you're going to your TV partners, as we've reported, the CW, obviously Amazon Prime, and anybody else that you would look at, when you go to those folks, you're saying, hey, these are the schools we have now. This is our makeup. What would you value that at? And then what would you value schools like Memphis, Tulane, USF? What would you value those schools at? And so I'm telling you, the Pac-12 is just simply playing the middleman here, trying to put all this together. And it's a long, slow process. But the good news, as everybody so adamantly pointed out in our comments section, they have 2 years. So they have time. But what I'm telling you is, in real world scenario, you probably only have a year, because you're not going to take up that full 2 years and get close to that line where you would no longer be eligible as a conference recognized by the NCAA. So that's where I think they have to go.
Well, and I also think the details on a new Pac-12 media rights deal are huge. So let me get right to the details on that, because I also talked to several high-level sources in the TV industry yesterday, and I am told that the CW certainly is the first choice for the Pac-12, but Fubo TV, who the Pac-12 has a very strong relationship with through the Pac-12 network, because Fubo was one of those streamers that really went all in on the Pac-12 and gave them a home for a lot of viewership. That the Pac-12 is talking to Amazon Prime and Fubo TV about streaming deals, and the CW certainly seems to be the leader for broadcast television. The footprint of the CW, and the biggest challenge is how many of their affiliate stations would be willing to take full stock in Pac-12 football. That is the single biggest question, because the CW only controls the stations they own and operate. They do not have leverage over their affiliates, as, again, I consistently mention with Live Golf. Live Golf was having their final rounds either completely bypassed by affiliates. In talking to a very high-level TV source yesterday, there were CW affiliates running 80s television show reruns and reruns of game shows like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. Almost had a brain cramp there. Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy over Live Golf final round action. That cannot happen if you are the Pac-12. So can the CW offer the Pac-12 an all-in TV deal? Football is very different than golf. It is played, obviously, across the country all day long, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday. It's a different beast. I totally get that. But one of the biggest questions is, can the CW deliver full carriage coast to coast for the Pac-12? And most people in the TV industry I speak to do not believe that they can do that. That's going to be a huge question mark if you are going to go back to Memphis, Tulane, and USF. Can you get, affiliates of the CW to carry the Pac-12 in Florida if it's USF? That's a huge question mark, and I think that's one that has to be asked. But I think that there is no question Prime Video and Fubo TV are very good resources for the Pac-12 when we are talking about streaming. And those two have, in fact, said, yeah, we're interested. We're having conversations. Obviously, there is a relationship in place with two behemoths in streaming. That'd be Prime Sports and, of course, Apple TV. But I am told that Apple TV is nowhere right now in Pac-12 media rights negotiations. And one of the reasons that the Pac-12 conference has put a pause on expansion to focus all in on a media rights deal is because they need to reignite those conversations that they had previously before the old Pac-12 melted down. They're certainly going to go back and try to reopen those channels of communication, because I think we all agree, if you land on Prime Sports, you're in a really good spot. But that broadcast piece of this is going to be critically important. I don't know if you're a Pac-12 fan. I'd love to hear from you on how you feel about a deal for the Pac-12 on the CW. I don't know if that moves the needle enough to move somebody like Memphis, who, again, and I don't mean to be redundant, but I think it's really important to go back and listen to the words of Ed Scott, the athletic director at Memphis, because he was pretty, I don't know, is harsh the right word? This feels very harsh.
Blunt is what he was.
Here's what Ed Scott said this week about the Pac-12.
If y'all haven't seen the latest reports of what's going on between the Mountain West and the Pac-6, 7 right now, this is a fluid situation, right? So that's the other thing. When we talk about the decision that was made by the University of Memphis to not join the PAC, as I like to call them right now at this time, that was not a binary decision. That was not a no, we're not ever going anywhere. That was based on the offer that was presented in front of us, that we're not taking that offer because we don't think less of ourselves. And I came here for a reason. You heard me in the press conference. You've heard me in any interview I've done. I'm bullish on Memphis's future. And so I think sometimes we get enamored by the new and we want to take a bad deal. And that deal was not a good deal for the University of Memphis. It certainly wasn't a good deal for our athletic department. And most importantly, it was a really, really bad deal for our Olympic sports.
I think that's pretty harsh. A really, really bad deal for Olympic sports. And again, sources told us, as I reported late last week and earlier this week, they were offering $10 to $15 million, not guaranteed. We believe that we are in a position, the Pac-12, it believes that they're in a position where they can offer their potential expansion partners $10 to $15 million a year. I am told that they have never gotten a firm offer in a media rights deal of more than $10 million. And I was told that they told Memphis it'd be $12 million. I think if you're going to get Memphis, Tulane, and USF, you're going to have to get to that $15 million number. It is, I've heard that number enough from people in the know and people around college football that $15 million is enough money to offset the cost of doing business, of flying your students. And Memphis, Tulane, USF, they take very seriously the cost and the toll that the student athlete is going to take. And it's not football that we're talking about. That's a day-and-a-half trip for football. We're talking about softball and basketball, in baseball. We're talking about soccer, track and field. We're talking about lacrosse. We're talking about all their other lower level sports where you're traveling your volleyball team across the country on a 5-day trip away from Memphis across the West Coast, where you're not comfortable in that environment. That's not somewhere that you call home. And you're doing study halls and hotel rooms. You're doing tests that are being proctored by an advisor, hopefully in a bigger, they try to, as it's been explained to me, you do study halls in actual hotel rooms. You do tests you try to do them in larger spaces, because when you are battling and you're a 19, 20-year-old volleyball player, there is an element where you feel boxed in. And I was told that it's not like you feel claustrophobic, but there are a lot of student athletes who want to be in bigger spaces, who want to not be in a hotel room 24 hours a day. And I totally understand that. And it's those minute details of traveling in collegiate sports that we don't think about. I don't think about, well, damn, I've been in my hotel room now for 5 hours studying and then taking a test.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. I've never thought about the fact that, well, you know what? We're doing as a volleyball team, we're going to a venue, whether that be a gym or whatever. I am told that in G5 and in FCS, if you're a volleyball team, that you're practicing sometimes in a high school gym, not even at the college gym. You're practicing in a high school gym. You are a lot of times getting a boxed portable lunch. I was told that Chick-fil-A is one of the favorites. Mm-hmm. Apparently, chicken meals across the country are wildly popular with college kids. Who knew? Bojangles was a brand that was brought up to me. I was texting with a guy about Chick-fil-A yesterday, or like you're getting a boxed lunch from Chick-fil-A after practicing in a high school gym to go back to your hotel room and do study hall and take tests.
Yeah, you don't have a life.
You don't have a life.
And
that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And if you are a Memphis volleyball player and you're at USF, or you've flown, bused or flown from Memphis to New Orleans, that's not a bad trip. You're probably there for 2 days, and you're back in Memphis. You're back at home. You're back in your own room. You're back in your own bed. Your trinkets, I was also told about like phone charging and electronic charging. Apparently, kids lose charging cables. Who knew? Right? But when you're in your own bedroom and you're going to sleep and you're charging your phone and it's laying on your bed next to you, you know where the power outlet is, you know where the phone charger is, and you know that your phone's going to be charged the next morning. Like, it's little things like that that we don't think about.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out who's going to win a football game and have access to the college football playoffs.
So when you talk about Memphis flying across the country, it's not exactly an attractive proposition, which is why the money is going to have to be really good.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. And I think I think it's a very interesting case study of Stanford and Cal, because we told you back in that day, Stanford and Cal are spending significant money on creature comforts for their football and their basketball teams because travel has gotten exceptionally more difficult. And I use the word exceptional because you're not used to, as a basketball team, being on the road for 10 days at a time. You're not used to that. And most of the time when you were on the road for that long, where were you? Well, you were at like the Maui Invitational, so it wasn't that bad. But if you're flying to Charlotte, or if you're flying to Miami, and then you're probably busing from Miami to Tallahassee, right? To like, you look at ACC travel for somebody like Florida State, they're actually trying to make it easier by flying, not busing, from Miami to Tallahassee. They're looking at the cost financially versus the cost on the student and the staff and the infrastructure. And I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense because as a basketball team, you don't have the equipment issues that a football team has. So as a basketball team, you can fly from Miami to Tallahassee. If you're a football team, you're trucking your equipment from, Palo Alto to South Florida or to Atlanta. And that equipment, your game day equipment, is probably staying on the East Coast if you're coming back the next week.
Miami going to Cal this week, right? I mean, that's that's been well documented that they left on Tuesday and they're trucking their equipment across the country. And I think that, this is all there's challenges to all of it. It's the business operations of collegiate athletics. But the reality is, when it comes to changing that formula and that equation, and, when it comes to the proposition of regularly going west, I just think there's a lot of hesitation. And so because of that, the money, like I said, has to be really good. The money has to make it worth the pain. And the money has to allow the school to invest in those creature comforts and to make sure that the experience of the student athlete stays at the highest level possible, because what these schools can't have is a hit to their athletic department's reputation about travel and the experience. Kids talk, kids know, which athletic departments spend money and which don't. If you think that Under Armour versus Nike doesn't matter to a kid, you're out of your mind. If you think that, the quality of the locker room doesn't matter to a kid, you're out of your mind. Like, all these little things matter to kids, man. They care about, having a good experience and having nice things. And that's why I'm saying, like, the impacts of this, the ripple effect of, hey, we're going to join the PAC is never ending, in my opinion. There's always going to be someone who isn't thrilled with it. So I also think if you're the Pac-12, you got to find a way to shift the conversation from how hard it is to join your conference to why people should join your conference.
Right.
And I think that's difficult to do, but I think that's why it's a smart play to go out and get some money secured and change the dynamic of the conversation, because hopefully you can start having more positive conversations about adding membership so that you don't have to just add Boise State and focus on the West Coast. Like, at some point it would be nice for the Pac-12 to be able to, reach out east and get some of these schools. But I would agree when you have, the athletic director, Dr. Ed Scott of Memphis, being that, harsh or blunt or just straight up about it, that's
very
not,
direct.
it's just not, I don't think it's what you want to hear if you're the PAC. What you want to hear is like, yeah, we had conversations, and at this time the numbers just didn't quite work out for us. Like just something simple like that. And I feel like Dr. Ed Scott went way out of his way to say that it was a garbage deal that just wouldn't do anything for them. And that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it is. It's very interesting to me that, you look at the build of the CW network is really interesting to me, because I also think you look at the stations they own, and it's Atlanta, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Tampa, Seattle, Philly. Like you look at their O&O, what's called O&O, owned and operated stations. And you start to understand that, they don't have a lot of control beyond the stations that they own, obviously. And you start looking at some of the markets that they're in, like their CW sports only affiliates. You're looking at San Diego, Cadillac, Michigan, Hartford, Connecticut, Elmira, New York. Those aren't great Pac-12 markets. Obviously, San Diego's in a different conversation, but if you look at WGN Chicago, how interested are they in a Pac-12 TV game? I don't know that they're that interested in it. Are they going to have to take it? Yeah, they are. But I think that's a big one. And yeah, are they big in Palm Springs? Yes. Is that a Pac-12 market? Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. They have some real wins on the affiliate side. They don't have a cross-country win where you're certainly going to take it.
Right.
I think that's the biggest question, because again, you look at the companies that the CW does business with. Gray Television is a big one. Gray Television is really important because, they're Missouri, they are Florida, they are, Texas. Again, I know I'm crazy. Everybody tells me how dumb I am, but Gray Television operates in Lubbock, Laredo, like big football markets. They also are in like Harrisonburg, Virginia. So you've got to get those kinds of companies to buy into your Pac-12 TV deal, and I just don't think they will. Not across the board on certain of their stations. Sure, they will. But I think there are real challenges here. So we'll see exactly how this TV deal breaks out. But if you're just tuning in this morning, some of the latest details that we have for you on the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is not done with the AAC. And I think this detail about, this letter of intent, when you are Memphis, Tulane, and USF and everybody else in the AAC, and you have signed this letter saying that you are committed to the AAC, because as we've told you on this show, the AAC does not have a traditional grant of rights. What the AAC has is a contract/charter that says, hey, you're going to grant us the ability to sell the rights to your home games. It is a provision in their charter. It is not a traditional grant of rights. So everybody leaps to this idea that, well, you can leave whenever you want. Well, that's not the case. Is it the ACC's grant of rights? Certainly not. Certainly not. But by most people's accounts, it's a $27 million lump sum payment to the conference to leave the AAC. And if this agreement that everybody in the AAC signed, according to our sources, committing themselves to the AAC, if it's binding, and I think that's the biggest question, if it is binding, that's going to be difficult. And if there's a question of whether or not it is binding, it's going to end up in court. We have not seen it. I want to make this very clear. I have not seen that letter of however you want to describe it. It's been described to me as a letter of intent. It has been described to me as a statement of understanding by one source. Like, they signed a document in the AAC, and I am told every member did, signed a document saying we are committed to the conference going forward. There is a set of provisions in there that says, hey, we are going to go back to our TV partners and try to renegotiate our television contract. We are going to bring in private equity, which I am told the AAC is aggressively doing. But make no mistake about it. Members of the AAC signed a document saying that they committed themselves to the conference. Is it binding? I don't know. In the Mountain West, the letter of engagement, which I am told that's what it is. It's a letter of engagement, is binding. You're not getting out of that conference without paying a substantial fee. Is that the case in the AAC?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My guess is it is binding, because if I'm giving you a document to commit yourself to something and it's not binding, what good is it? It's not worth the paper it's printed on.
Yeah, what are we committing to?
So in my experience, in the opinion of the sources that I've spoken to, that letter is binding.
Yeah. I think, it's a really interesting situation because, again, as we sit here and talk about, the Pac-12 going out and getting, pausing expansion efforts for now because they want to go out and get, a media rights deal done so they can change the dynamic of that conversation with targets. It's a really interesting proposition. How long does it take them to get that TV deal? What is it takes the Pac-12 to get a TV deal? Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long. But my point is, what I'm trying to say is, what's the landscape of college football look like once the deal is done? I mean, if it gets done a month from now, obviously things are, pretty much going to look the same as they do now, and that'll be fine.
I also think one of the biggest questions is who's producing those games, because the Pac-12, don't forget, still has assets and facilities to produce live sports. They do not have a schedule for football next season, which I think is also a significant hurdle. If you're doing a deal with Fubo, Amazon Prime Sports does not have production capabilities for an entire season of football. And if you look at the way that they do Thursday night football, that's outsourced. That is not, Amazon Prime Sports is not in-house producing those games. Hey, we've got our trucks and equipment deployed. They're outsourcing that. So is the Pac-12 financially and physically, meaning assets, equipment, resources, are they fully capable still to this point to produce their own product? I am told they are. And I think that's probably where they're headed. What is the expense and the cost on that?
That's a great question.
And does that lessen the distribution? I think that's a very big question. We all know they built a brand new production house. So that is in the East Bay in Northern California. To my knowledge, they did not offload their physical assets, their trucks, their broadcast equipment. To my knowledge, they have not offloaded that. The question is, can they still produce games across an entire 10-team season? You're looking at hundreds of football games, hundreds of basketball games. Can you still do that? We're going to find out. And I think that's absolutely part of it. And if you are, again, the streaming side, good. If you're the CW side, I think you want to continue in the light that you are. There's so many unknowns here. In order for the Pac-12 to get to $15 million a year, you're going to have to drop some magic dust on a TV deal, because I just don't see you getting there.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how you do.
And I think, part of the order of operations here too is, the Pac-12 is for sure going to go to these TV partners or prospective TV partners we're talking about and say, hey, we've had conversations again with, Memphis, Tulane, USF, these different schools, and we understand, what it would take to add them. I'm telling you, that's a crucial part of this conversation, because if you're going to your TV partners uneducated about what Memphis wants or what, Tulane or USF or anybody wants,
yep,
you're not going to be able to put together the correct deal. So I just think that ultimately, all this stuff, what it comes down to is how long is it going to take you to get this TV deal done, and just how bad do members want to leave the AAC to get to, I guess what at that point would be the best G5, because that's the other thing. I still maintain the why behind going to the Pac-12 is still a question mark. Like, I don't understand, outside of the money. Like, I think the money is the only reason the Mountain West teams were in for it, right? I mean, obviously you were going to get a pay raise, and that's cool. I get that. But again, if you're these schools out east, like it's not getting you more access to be in the Pac-12. So the only reason you're doing this is for money. And if you actually do take it as seriously as it would appear Memphis and these schools take it as far as student experience, I just think that that's a big hurdle. So I don't think even if you get the TV deal done, that it's just a gimme that these schools will be like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. Like,
well, I think the San Ramon facility for the Pac-12 network is a big deal. I mean, that is and I'm sure you guys know this, we've talked about it at length. They just rolled that thing out less than a year ago. It is a state-of-the-art production and broadcast facility. It's got all the best equipment. It's got, I think it's 9 control rooms for live event production. So they certainly have the facility. Let's see if they can do that on hundreds of games a year in football, hundreds and hundreds of games a year. I mean, you're looking at 300 basketball games a year just on the men's side. So you're looking at close to probably 700 games a year in basketball. I mean, that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
That's a lot of production. So we'll see. I mean, it is as the Pac-12 turns. And I think if you're a Pac-12 fan, and I know we have heard from an inordinate percentage of Pac-12 fans who are pissed that we're being critical and not just lock, stock, and barrel, my God, this is amazing, because it's not. Today is the day where you're going to get your wish, because I think this is exactly the right move. Pause your expansion efforts and leave the communication channels open. That's exactly what they're doing. And go all in on getting a media rights deal, or at least the framework of a media rights deal, which is to say, if we do A plus B, that's going to equal a media rights deal of $10 million per team.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get $10 million per team, in my opinion, to be viable.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
And if they do that, I think you're in good shape. All right. Less of us, more of you. The comment section, as always, is presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. And do not take my advice on Prize Picks. Holy Toledo Batman. Did I get thrashed on Prize Picks in the Major League Baseball playoffs? I am not sure that I can physically, emotionally, mentally recover from the 0 for beating that I took. And I would just like to say, Gunnar Henderson, if you never get another hit in Major League Baseball, it'll be too soon. Unless you get traded to the Cubs, then I'll mea culpa this. But Gunnar Henderson, you understand you're supposed to bring a bat to the plate when you actually try to get hits, right? All I needed was 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Just give me a double down the corner. Everything's good. No. 0 for yesterday.
No.
0. Francisco Lindor, 2.5 runs, hits, and RBIs. Nothing.
No.
Max Fried against San Diego. All I need is 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. No.
No.
You only got 2. Now, I'm happy you only got 2 because I am here for the Padres and the Dodgers. I'm here for it. But all of you are dead to me. I mean, Francisco Lindor, I don't like you to begin with. You can leave now.
I think I've hit it every time.
I hope you strike out every at-bat for the rest of your career. I don't. That would be terrible. I'm such a bitter loser, right?
I mean, I don't know you to be that person, but whatever.
Thankfully, that is the first loss Chipotle has taken in a minute.
Yeah.
But I am ready for a rebound. I got to be honest with you. Thursday Night Football is tonight. As I always like to say on the show, pimps are going to pimp, right?
Right.
You know when it's football. Old Uncle Monty has you covered. You know that. So when we're talking about Captain Kirk Cousins tonight, going up against Tampa Bay, you're going to take the under on 230.5 yards. Baker Mayfield, here's the problem. He's 243.5. I got to tell you, I think you got to go over more on Baker Mayfield. And then we start talking about where do you go with Tampa Bay wide receivers? Mike Evans is your favorite player on earth ever, I believe. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
But you're Mike Evans fan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely one of the best receivers we've had in the game. He's not the same guy he was, but
4.5 catches tonight, more or less, against that Atlanta defense.
That's more.
I think that's where I'm going. Remember the formula to win on Prize Picks. Make a 3-pick flex play. That means only 2 of 3 have to win for you to get paid. It's that simple. On Prize Picks, you're going to play a $5 flex play. Now, when you're rolling and you're cashing and your Benzes and Beamers, you're playing a $20 flex play.
Yeah.
And you're usually working in the WNBA playoffs.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I'm so glad that it's Thursday night, so I don't have to feel like a bad person for betting on the WNBA.
What?
Okay.
You burned out on Katie Clark?
No, she wins. Every time I bet with Katie Clark, she wins. Unfortunately, she done. She gone. So, it. And listen, I have no shame. You want to talk the W? Because it's not W, it's the dub. Thank you.
Dub.
Is that what you want to do tonight? Because Asia Wilson tomorrow is 23.5 points in an elimination game. I'm going to have to go more on that tomorrow on Prize Picks.
Listen, easy gimme on Prize Picks tonight. Kirk Cousins, 47.5 first quarter passing yards. Easy gimme. Easy.
Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They're going to give you 50 more. It's the best daily fantasy promo I've ever seen. Do it right now. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5 in a new Prize Picks account. They'll give you 50 more. Boom. Done. That's it. Flex plays. 3 selections in a flex play.
Do it.
You're good to go. You'll play all season long on $55. Trust me when I say that. Let's get to your comments. Aaron Wilson, America's favorite letter carrier for the United States Post Office.
Package.
My guy, Aaron Wilson, great to see you. Appreciate the membership. Calford gifts 10.
Again, I don't know if this has been Calford's month to just be on a mission with memberships, but if you're not a member of this program, after the hundreds of free memberships that Calford has gifted at this point,
it's wild.
I don't know what you're doing.
It is wild. Let's see who picked up the memberships. Let me see if I can find it. You guys, the comment stack today is ridiculous. Thank you so much. The volume of comments today is
huge.
David Groover. Groover. David Groover, which is different than Connor Stallions and Hoover. Vacuum. Okay.
Whatever.
Was gifted Aaron Wilson's membership.
Nice.
Yes. Look at that list of prolifics.
Nice.
Picking it. Don in Kansas. Hello. Getting a membership. Dr. Stomp. Kevin D. Williford.
Kevin D. Nice name.
Patrick Kintz. All gifted memberships. All 10 of you. Welcome to the show. Appreciate that. And donuts. Let's go. Dude, I have been craving a donut for like a month. Now, you guys know I eat pretty well. Losing weight, getting in shape. Nobody's going to comment on the clip here. Jay Taffa, the best fader.
You might have to single up for them to be able to see that on the shot here.
The best barber in the
yeah,
midi.
it's
come on, man.
Yeah, it's faded and it's faded and stuff, man.
Your boy looking fresh.
Yeah.
Jay Taffa, the best barber in the business. I'm telling you, if you're in Utah, Jay Taffa, that's my guy. Are you kidding me? The PAC followers appreciate the Monty team digging for info, and we've worked really hard on this story. And and donuts, I don't doubt your sincerity. We've worked really hard on this story, trying to talk to as many people as possible. talking to as many people in television, and we happen to know a lot of people in the right places in television. That's how we were able to tell you that they were never getting $50 million per team.
Right.
I believe at the end of the day, our number was spot on with the Pac-12 last time around, what they were able to get. Like, it's not accidental. We know people in the right spots. And I understand, Pac-12 fan, I am not jabbing at you. The repeated comments in the comment section yesterday from Pac-12 supporters saying we're trolling you. I'm not trolling you. I just ask you to go back and look at our record and let the record reflect. We've been nails. We have not. And I am being sincere. We have not gotten one thing wrong in Pac-12 expansion. Previously, Pac-12 meltdown, Pac-12 expansion now. Who was the first one to tell you Tulane, Memphis, and USF? That was us on this show.
See, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is a good this account, The Thinker, this second from the bottom there. This is exactly what I'm talking about out of fans right now.
No one cares about the Pac-12 West Coast football. How can y'all not be talking about the SEC? We talk about the SEC all the time. I love this because it gives me a chance to say, everybody says we're an SEC homer show.
And by the way,
I love that.
Hey, guy, you're never here. We talked about it on Tuesday.
Yes.
So,
and the Big Ten getting together to dominate college football, your show is almost malpractice. We spent 45 minutes talking about this idea that the Pac-12 and the Mountain West were wasting their time, frankly, because the Big Ten and the SEC are both going to push to get four automatic qualifiers. And Notre Dame, who I told you, again, something else we got right. What did I tell you? Notre Dame gave up their voting influence. And you guys said, no, they didn't. Notre Dame. What did Heather Dinich report 2 days ago? That in exchange for their automatic qualifier, Notre Dame's given up their influence to impact the structure of the college football playoff.
Well, you don't know anything, Monty. You don't have sources. You don't talk to anybody. Okay, dude.
We talked about it extensively, The Thinker.
So before you come in here and be a red ass about it, maybe ask like, hey, did you guys already talk about the SEC and the Big Ten?
Look at fat old Mormon and dying. If anything, this show is a Big 12 homer show, which is fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, what's it going to be today, dude?
You're a homer.
The flyover conference that's got a lot of truck stops.
Yeah, I mean, which gas station are we talking about today?
Yes, the awkward guy. This is a truck stop conference homer show.
You're a homer is the first part.
And I do love the part where we get into these conversations about, well, you're a flyover conference. Okay, which conference doesn't have airplanes flying over it? Anybody? Well, the SEC. There's no flight patterns over the SEC. Oh, wait.
Monty?
Like it's so ridiculous to me. I do love it. You talk homer show. Exactly.
You're a homer is the first part.
That's right. Mike Smith, this show is all about roller food and Costco, Christine.
Yeah, right? Right? I mean, come on, dude.
That is a reference to Jake admitting that when he was in Kansas City for like the 50th time this year, that he ate off of a roller at a QT in Kansas City.
And I have to admit, the taquitos were pretty solid. They were solid.
Not when they were not on the other end. They weren't solid. I can guarantee you that, boy. Eric and Raleigh, Glizzy Roller Show. No, I'm not playing your game. Tony, I'm not playing your game. I'm never going to say it. Tony, I am never, ever going to say it. LOL, dude's going to find out. Exactly.
Yeah, like, come on, bro.
The stadium guy, James, who, for those of you that are new to the show, James is a stadium guru. He does videos on stadiums across the country and their upper decks that they build to block mountain views.
Stay home.
Welcome to the Monty Show, sponsored by the Big 12 and Buc-ee's, home of the best chicken sandwich. There you go. And stadium upper deck takes. Exactly right.
CNS seating. I mean, let's make sure we get it right.
Exactly right. What are you doing, Calford? Giving 10 more.
Whoa. There's more.
Giving 10 more Marty Show memberships. Big shout out to Calford giving 20 Monty Show.
Bro, you're gifting so many memberships that we're going to have to start consolidating, bro.
That's 40 today. and I appreciate you very much. Costco Cuisine Gourmet, yo. I'm going to Costco on Saturday after golf, and it's going to be tough to pass on a glizzy. Costco hot dogs are goated. Kirk, now we're having a see, this is what you guys do. I'm over here trying to produce a great anti-Pac-12 talk show.
Well, it's not what you try to do.
It's only what you did do.
Yeah.
Bucky's got some good food.
Right.
Still haven't been. Mike? Mountain Mama. Lot Lizard Union has all the inside info at the truck stop conference. I don't believe I've ever said this on the show. Michael, behave. I will send you out back with a hose and a scrub brush to clean that coal if you do not behave. Mike is a good West Virginia.
We clear on that?
He's a West Virginia guy. Appreciate you. Eric in Durham. Roller glizzies and luxury boxes.
That's right. See, that's correct, dude.
See, Stadium Guy James says that the Utah Utes should build an upper deck that has all BDSM seats. I think was that what he said? Oh, no.
Yeah.
C and M.
Oh,
the CW. It should be branded after the CW, all the seats.
Got it.
Did you guys see, real quick, the Utah Jazz are out here celebrating the fact that you can get game tickets for $2 on the resale market, and they're selling hot dogs at Jazz games for $2 because we just appreciate the support of the fan base.
We're here for the people.
The Utah Jazz are going to be terrible, and nobody will go to games unless they can get their kids $2 hot dogs and drinks, and they can pay $2 for their seats because that team's going to be bad. Kay Sumbry. Okay.
This is soft take, dude.
Okay.
You know, it's
Sort of a natural reflex.
You come in here on a regular basis when there are free memberships available and you're still not a member, but fine. You come in here on a regular basis and you choose violence, and I don't understand it.
Why? I have simple taste.
Why would you say QT is beast? Why would you make inflammatory statements that you know is not true and you can't back up?
So QT or K. Sunbury, are you a Kansas guy or an Oklahoma guy?
No, he's an Oklahoma State guy, which I'm fine with. I even have a level of, you're an Oklahoma State fan. I have some laughing at you that I've done this.
Here I am.
And you understand it. I have no sympathy for Oak State fans until you get on board with firing the mullet.
Yeah.
But to come in here and say that QT is beast, you've never been to a Maverick. Now, is QT better than Bucky's? Yeah, but what isn't? My point, see what okay, let's move on.
That was a Bucky's bomb.
And donuts, waiting for the James Stadium rating. Exactly. Ahmad El Mabashir. If the Dakotas get added, I would watch from the New York City area. Would you really? You would. Are you? That's surprising. 79 Steely Matt. Told you, Calford, I have zero luck. Hey, 50 more memberships.
Let's go.
So Steely Matt can get a membership.
Let's go.
Oh, my God. Lopes fan Gabe, serious question. Does Lightning McQueen have car insurance or life insurance? From the same guy who rolled in here like 5 years ago and was like, hey, bro, just stopping by to ask, do you guys know his cereal soup?
Quick sidebar.
And I'm also curious, how many holes does a straw have? All right.
Bro did this on a radio show in Phoenix. That's how old that is, dude.
I love it. I have the questions of, so we used to debate on this show, is a hot dog a sandwich? Which, duh. A hot dog is absolutely a sandwich. Sandwich. No. It is.
No.
I think it is, yeah, you know. RX, Texas brisket burrito versus California burrito. Discuss. Now, I got to be honest with y'all. Mrs. Monty is out of town.
Monty.
My beloved, beautiful wife is currently in Los Angeles. So what's a guy to do? Cook? No. What?
Who does that?
So I went to Chipotle for dinner last night. I went and saw Jay Taffa for the beautiful crown molding. And I stopped by the old Chipotle. We are way off track with this, but I stopped by the old Chipotle last night. The Chipotle brisket burrito. I'm not a big red meat consumer. That brisket is spicy, tasty, flavorful, tortilla.
But it's Chipotle, so you can't eat it, right?
But wait, I got to tell you, I walked into Chipotle at 7:10 last night. There was a line to the door. I waited. What do you think the quality of the burrito was?
Honestly, probably pretty good.
The best Chipotle burrito I think I've ever had.
And you know why it was pretty good?
Because they were busy. They were warmed up. Their arms were loose for rolling.
Yeah, they were ready.
And you know what the best part was? They were out of brisket. So you know what? So they're out of brisket. What do you think the 22-year-old with tattoos on his cheekbone did? Was he cordial? Did he make an effort? What do you guess?
Well, I'm going to guess since it was the best burrito you had, he probably did.
He said, you know what? Hang on a second. I think I've got some in the drive-through lane. Let me go see if I can get that. He didn't have enough for a double. So the guy on the grill was like, hey, bro, no problem. I got you. Here's a fresh slab of brisket. Just came off the grill. Let me chop it up real quick. They went out of their way for good service at Chipotle. The guy, all I get, brown rice, tortilla, brown rice, black beans, double brisket, queso, pico. Done. That's my burrito. Filled it up, rolled it nice and tight. Ate really well. Didn't leak all over the place. No stains on Buddy's shirt. The best Chipotle experience I have had. And it's unfortunate. And look at that. Mrs. Monty saying, good morning. Good morning, my love. It's unfortunate because usually when Mrs. Monty and I go to Chipotle, it's a wreck.
Yeah, I just think if you go to Chipotle,
amazing.
the one that you go to specifically, in my experience, if you go after prime hours, like if you go at 8:30, you're gonna have a bad experience.
And I did. I never carry cash, and I happen to have a $10 bill in my wallet, and I don't know why. Dropped it in the tip jar.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, not to get off track. Thinker, this is your first comment after we told you to go back and listen to SEC and Big Ten talk. Is that you wish we would talk politics more?
Nah, bro.
We're not doing that, dude.
No.
Everybody loses their mind. Can't have a grown-up conversation. It is what it is.
Casual fan, hit 21 and no stains on my shirt. What do I do for the rest of the month? Go to bed. Go to bed. Sleep well, friends. Because Steely Matt, damn, I need a burrito now. It was so good.
But to answer the question that RX proposed, I'm California breakfast burrito all day. That is my preference.
RX, but Taco Bell is making don't stop. Sam's Club has better hot dogs. Why would you say that?
That's just a weak take, dude.
Now I know why you're a felon. He's not. He's an attorney. The felon attorney, Oregon IR, bro. Sam's Club hot dogs are not better. And if we need to, you're a lawyer. If we need to adjudicate this on some level, I'm here for it. I don't know what that means. Dunkin' Donuts, dude. I'm telling you, we went to Boston.
Dunkin' has bomb donuts.
When we went to Boston for Foo Fighters a couple of what was it? God dog, that was in July already.
Yeah.
When we went to Boston, I drugged my wife. She did not want to go to Dunkin'. I literally grabbed her wrist and pulled her into a Dunkin', and we had the best munchkin, those donut holes.
Little gamble here.
Dude, I love Dunkin'. I'm a huge Dunkin' guy.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Dunkin' guy. Oh, God. James, QT coffee and rollers is how they get you to stop at the next QT. My wife will not drink convenience.
Bro.
She will not get you to drink. She will not drink convenience store coffee for this exact reason, because it never ends well. Still, the best gas station, and I don't even have ICE vehicle. Okay. Bradley Dunkel. Haha, I'm moving spots on this guide trip, and I got gifted a membership by Cal, and you didn't. That's amazing. Awesome. Mike Smith, political talk rage even on non-Caps Lock Friday. Seriously.
No, and by the way, quick sidebar on that. Caps Lock Friday last week broke the mic, which is why we had mic issues last Friday.
Yeah,
so
I can't be doing Caps Lock Friday anymore. These are SMB mics from Shure, and they're like $600. If Cal somehow beats Miami on Saturday, I'll gift 100 Monty Show memberships on Monday.
Okay. Do we need to screenshot that to hold Buddy accountable?
I don't think so. Oh, Monty Oza Ribeye is back. Let's go. Where is Teddy Wayman?
I don't know, dog.
Where is Teddy Wayman?
Text him. Text him.
Teddy must hit over 21. Let's go, Teddy. I miss Teddy. First pineapple pizza, now Dunkin', Hoffman. No, I'm not doing this with you guys today. I have as a man of integrity and morals, I am not stooping to pineapple sucks on pizza argument today. I will not go into the cesspool with you.
You just have to snap out of it a little bit.
I hit a buckshot from Bucked Up before the show.
Dude,
I
you
have
are
so much
lit.
energy. 7-Eleven dogs are better.
Next comment.
Our guy OG Gary loves him some 7-Eleven. Local donut connection shop way better than Dunkin'. Well, yes, local mom and pop donut store.
Dunkin's garbage product is so reliable that it's good. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%. All right, why don't we do this? Let's reset. Let's do 15 strong minutes on the Pac-12 and their television contract. And do you believe that members of the AAC will eventually end up in the Pac-12? Let's talk about that after this from The Advocate.
When you've been injured in an accident, you need a lawyer, and you deserve an advocate. Speaking with an attorney is simple and 100% free. We're available 24/7 for your convenience, and we'll take on the claims process so you can rest easy. You deserve an advocate.
And do you do? The Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, no matter where you listen to this show. If you've been in a car accident, if you got hurt at work yesterday, workman's comp all day long at the Advocates. They're so good at it. They're so passionate about getting you what you deserve and what you need to get back to the best version of yourself. Chat with an injury attorney online 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. All right, if you're just tuning in, NFL coming up in 26 minutes. Let's reset what we know about the Pac-12 today, because there's this question now, and we've talked about it for days. What is the latest with the Pac-12 and the AAC? I can tell you we spent significant hours yesterday talking to sources and getting information on where the AAC and its membership is at. And I can tell you they have signed a letter of intent. Every AAC member signed it, a letter of intent committing themselves to membership in the AAC. The biggest question is that letter of intent binding? Which means, will it hold up if Memphis, let's say, says, I'm out, I'm going to the Pac-12? That's the biggest question. Will a judge, if we put that letter of intent in front of a judge in a courtroom, will a judge say, yep, this is binding, you have to pay X penalty? Or that is the great unknown. I will be honest with you and say I have not seen the letter of intent. I have asked. I have tried to get my hands on it. I am hoping to have it today. We'll see. If we get it today, we should have a pretty good idea if it is binding or not. But I will tell you, most of the people that I spoke to on this believe that it is binding. And the simple question that was put to me is, if it's not binding, why would the AAC have had you sign it? And I think that is exactly right. I would also point out in the Mountain West, as we told you first and exclusively on the show, they have a memorandum of agreement that is absolutely binding for all of its members in the Mountain West, signed it, and they are now committed to the Mountain West. Is that the same scenario that we're seeing in the AAC? I think it likely is, but that does not mean that the Pac-12 is done pursuing AAC members. I am told yesterday by sources in the TV industry that the main reason that the Pac-12 has put on hold new membership in the conference is because they're working with a company called Navigate, who is not that much different than Endeavor. Navigate has advised schools on a regular basis about earnings, revenue generation, conference affiliation, TV deals. They work with members of the Big 12. They work with members of the AAC. They work with members across college athletics to get them the most in revenue generation. They are working on behalf of the Pac-12. They are the ones doing the outreach to the AAC. They are the ones trying to pave the road so that the Memphises and the Tulanes and the USFs can eventually end up in the Pac-12, because they are on contract with the Pac-12 and they are facilitating this process for the Pac-12. On the flip side of that as well, Navigate is also advising the Pac-12 on their TV deal. And to that end, what we are hearing is that the Pac-12 now is singularly focused on Fubo and Amazon Prime Sports as their streaming partners, and they are working on furthering and solidifying an agreement with the CW for national carriage. That is what the Pac-12 is after. I am told that they don't want to be a West Coast regional brand because that would essentially eliminate them from consideration of Memphis, Tulane, and USF. They are working with the CW, trying to negotiate and build a deal that would allow the CW to distribute Pac-12 football and athletics nationally, mainly Pac-12 football and basketball nationally, so that they can have a much larger payout. And I am told that that payout has to be a minimum of $10 million for them to have a viable opportunity to attract AAC members. Because I think the other part of this AAC conversation is the AAC's commitment to its memberships to drive private money into that conference to offset any loss or depreciation of a TV deal compared to what the Pac-12 would be offering. They intend to offset that by driving new private money into the conference. And I think one key detail that comes along with this relationship with Navigate is playing a significant role in injecting private money into college athletics. And Jake, if you're the Pac-12, this feels very much like a lifeline for attracting AAC members.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it makes it possible again, and I think that the Pac-12 needs that to happen to fully realize their comeback, if you will, their rebuild, if you will. And to me, I think that those brands are great and certainly would improve the stature of your conference. I think if you were to get those three, you would certainly be the best G5 at that point. But I think that I would just, temper expectations a bit. And I would say, hey, it's a process to get a media rights deal done. Like, signed, delivered, everything done. It's a process to do that. And when you're talking about three different parties, three different companies, working with the Pac-12, I think that helps your chances of eclipsing $10 million a year per school per season. Because you have more folks involved. But I just think that, if you're a Pac-12 fan today, you should feel good about the fact that they're making the shift in strategy, that it's now, hey, we need to get media rights done so then we can go out and have better conversations. But at the same time, I wouldn't just take it for granted that this gets done, quickly or easily, or it's just like a gimme. I think that what we've seen in the past, like if you go and you think about the Big 12's TV deal or any of these other TV deals that have gone down, we've come to understand that it takes time to hammer these things out, and it takes time to get a structure of a deal in place that's good for everyone. So I just think you have to temper expectations just a little bit. But if you're a Pac-12 fan, you should feel good about the shift in strategy.
And I want to show you, this is directly from the Navigate website. You guys go, if you want to know about Navigate, it is nvgt.com. Nancy Vegas Goat Timmy. nvgt.com is the Navigate website. This is what they say about their abilities to navigate media rights deal. We bring together primary research, secondary research, and industry expertise to map out your media rights options and chart your path to success. Our tailor-made predictive insights help you secure a deal that is optimal now and will hold up years into the future. I think that's exactly what you want to hear if you're the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because Navigate is well known for their data analysis and their predictive analytics. They use math and science to build TV models, is what they're telling you. And it's the right way to go about it. And I think if you're the CW, you have this well-known commitment to sports. It's the only reason you're in business with Live. It's the only reason you're in business with the ACC. You're doing these deals to bring more sports viewership to your network. And if you are partnered with Navigate at the Pac-12, you're delivering what they say is industry-leading data and analytics to predict the future. That's not getting you to $15 million. And as we reported exclusively on this show, the Pac-12 is offering future members and prospective members, I don't know, like Memphis, Tulane, and USF, they're telling them, hey, we're working in a $10 to $15 million range. And athletic director Ed Scott at Memphis, Dr. Ed Scott at Memphis, made it very clear that they were lowballed and the number they were offered is not enough. Can the Pac-12 and, frankly, its partners at Navigate, can they get to $15 million? I've talked to a dozen highly placed sources in television at every major sports property. And in their opinion, that's not possible.
Well, and when Dr. Ed Scott says that, is he referencing that they were offered 10 a year and that's what lowballing is? Or like that's kind of the minutia that nobody really knows. I don't think at this time, outside of the folks who were in obviously inside the conversation. And that's why I'm saying like if it came out that Dr. Scott felt that way because they were offered 10 a year, I don't think that that's great news for the Pac-12, because then I would agree that would then mean 15 is like 12 isn't really a great improvement. 15, it'd have to be the number, which I don't know, man. I'm not saying 15 is impossible, but what I am saying is it's hard to get to, bro. And that's
really
that's going to be That's
$150 million a year.
Yeah, I mean that's a really big number for where this conference is at.
I think if you're getting the $15 million a year, the only way you do that is if you're the majority of your stuff is on Amazon Prime. I don't see any way. And look at that, Brett McMurphy.
What's he got?
Saying exactly what we talked about, I think, yesterday. Mountain West in discussions with Hawaii about joining the league as a full member. Hawaii has been a member of the conference in football since 2012. Its non-football sports are in the Big West. Remember, we talked about the Big West. Again,
it's a pragmatic play. I mean, that makes sense.
It's the move that makes sense, because what Gloria Nevarez has been so good at is shoring up her walls. Shoring up her membership. Hawaii needs that bump, in my opinion. The Mountain West needs Hawaii to be a full member.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we talked about it probably too long the other day on the show. So that makes sense. Calford, let's get into your comments here on the Monty Show. I think the ACC schools will do it if the price is right. The AAC schools, I think, absolutely correct. I think if you threw $15 million at Memphis, USF, or Tulane,
they feel a lot better about that.
I think they're saying yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think $15 million mitigates your risk if you're those schools. I think at that point, the raise in finances mitigates the pain of it.
But here's the question that I would ask. If this letter of understanding that the AAC had its members sign, if in fact it does include a private money injection, how do you leave that? Because if you're making between $7 and $9 million right now in the AAC, you get a renewed, because I think they have $1 billion TV deal with ESPN. If you get that deal renewed and you get an extra $10 million a year in private money, and you're taking home significantly more because the Pac-12 got involved, how do you say no to that?
Right.
And you stay in your footprint, your costs stay stagnant. You get essentially every year your costs stay with the industry averages of what's airplane travel costs, jet fuel, all that stuff. Does it make sense for you? Does that make sense to say, I'm going to pay more and I'm going to put more human toll and human cost into going to the Pac-12? I think that ultimately is a question in the AAC. And I think the answer is probably no. There is an incredible amount of pressure right now for the AAC to drive new private money investment in that league and in those universities. And I think that's what they're working on, because I think most of them I think if they all had their druthers, they wouldn't change leagues for a lateral move.
No.
Memphis wants to be a power level program. They want to get into the Big 12, the ACC, the Big East, the Big 10 or the SEC. There's no question about that. But at what level would they be spurred to move to the Pac-12?
Well,
I think that's a huge question.
And I think that saying it's a race against time is spot on. Like, I mean, if
It
you're the AAC, you're sitting here saying we got to get this private money in here. We need to make, the situation here at home better.
Yes.
So that these schools aren't even looking out west. And obviously, it goes without saying it's the exact opposite for the Pac-12. They're trying to sweeten the deal to get these schools.
Yep. NFL in 13 minutes. Preview of Thursday Night Football. Nick Chubb is back for the Cleveland Browns. We'll talk about that. As well as are the Dallas Cowboys a playoff team? And are we past the perception and reality quotient for Dallas? We'll talk about all that coming up in 13 minutes. Bradley Dunkel, gas station hot dogs more carcinogenic than beryllium. Probably true.
Okay.
I believe that's science. Wade Bigler for $15 million, Tulane would. I agree. Tulane would, no doubt. At the end of the day, money talks. Calford, exactly right. Exactly right. There is no doubt about that. Smash the numbers. Only 2 more sleeps until big Washington versus Michigan game. I believe Alex Orji can, in fact, complete a forward pass. I have never seen him do it. I don't believe there is video even back to Alex Orji's sonogram when he was in the womb.
Well,
listen. I think the pass he threw in the in his mom's belly was incomplete as well.
Well, a sign stealer
Could
guy
be
has the tape of that stuff. I mean, that's, obviously he's got all the video archives. So
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, you should probably reach out to him when he's not busy getting his ass beat at the high school level.
And Michigan fan, I give you a lot of credit on this show because Michigan fan routinely rolls in here and is like, oh, we're the greatest offense ever. You're not. You are one of the worst offenses in all of college football for passing the football. I mean, yeah. I'm sure that at some point Alex Orji will complete a forward pass, but I don't believe that there is evidence he's ever done that. And I might be wrong about that. I haven't looked at all of the video, but I've never seen. I think his net completion yardage is minus 67. I could be wrong. So I'm a jerk. I freely admit it. I hate Michigan and I'm a jerk. Okay. Mike Smith, I feel better. If the money talks, the teams will walk. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Fat old Mormon and dying. If you leave the AAC, then you hate America.
Right.
America. Kirk Mason, big college football fan, bigger Memphis fan, want them in the Pac-12. Talk to me about that. Because in the AAC, you're the best G5 conference. I'm not sure that's even open for debate. You're in the best G5 conference. So how are you right now today saying to yourself, when you have stability, when you're making good bread, you have all the access you need to the college football playoff. It's simply a matter of you've got to win games at Memphis. You're in a really good place basketball-wise, depending on what you think of Penny Hardaway and this and that and such and like. But just let me ask you, how does going to the Pac-12 help you? And I think this is ultimately the conversation that we've had on this show for weeks and weeks now. How does going to the Pac-12 improve your situation? And I don't know that it does. If you're San Diego State, I get it. Even if you're Fresno, San Diego State, Boise State, I didn't really understand that, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How you're not the Pac-12, if you add Memphis, Tulane, and USF, you're a better football conference. There's no question about it. Right now, today, you don't have a TV deal. Right now, today, you have no idea in 2025 what a football schedule for Oregon State and Washington State look like. No idea whatsoever. You don't know in basketball, if you join the Pac-12, what are my tournament shares going to be? I don't know. You have so many questions that are answered with, I don't know. Today, you can't say that you would rather be in the Pac-12, I don't think. If they announce a $15 million TV deal with Amazon Prime and the CW, boom. Okay, that almost checks every box. But today, you can't say. I don't think you can say that.
Right.
I don't think you can say that. San Diego State Glenn. The ACC probably offered money like the Mountain West did. You mean the AAC? Translation binding. I think that this letter of agreement, this letter of whatever people want to call it, I can't believe the AAC wouldn't make that a binding document. Those are some really good business
Well, and
people
why
in
would you
that
sign
conference.
it if you weren't, if you were not improving?
And again, Dr. Ed Scott, the athletic director at Memphis, why would you come out that strongly? And he said, just listen to the first 20 seconds of this. Does this sound like a guy that's like, man, I can't wait to get to the Pac-12?
If y'all haven't seen the latest reports of what's going on between the Mountain West and the Pac-6, 7 right now,
that sounds like a guy who's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to be in the Pac-8 or 9. Those are strong words.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
I think those are fighting words. In fact, that would be a hell of a mea culpa.
Yeah.
A hell of a. Am I making?
No, I don't think you're making too much of it.
In the comment section, am I making too much out of what Dr. Scott said there?
Yeah, I mean, he was getting after him, no doubt.
The other thing is, I see everybody in the comment section saying, stop calling him doctor. The guy's earned it. And frankly, they want him to be called Dr. Ed Scott because he's earned it.
Yeah.
I'll call him Dr. Ed Scott. Bradley Dunkel, different shade. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon Butler, it's a memorandum of understanding. Memorandum of understandings are used by every college as legal documents, not a contract per se. I agree. Is it binding? I don't know. And I think the only thing that is bulletproof, and they're not really even bulletproof, everything's negotiable, is a contract. It's why the Pac-12 is suing the Mountain West. They have a contract. Pac-12 doesn't want to live up to the parameters. They're suing the Mountain West. If the AAC has a binding letter of understanding or memo of whatever you want to call it, a memorandum of understanding.
Right.
It's only binding till a judge says it's not.
Correct.
So I think you're right, though, Brandon. Exactly right. RX, isn't ESPN plus the AAC's? They have $1 billion deal for both broadcast television and ESPN. Every ESPN media rights deal includes ESPN plus and streaming. Because ESPN's long-term plan, and I think most people know this, is not to be on TV. Their long-term plan is you've got to subscribe to see Memphis play football, to see Alabama play football, to see, look at the numbers they did on Bama, Georgia. I know we don't talk SEC on the show ever.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers they did.
Yeah.
Richard Blue Gray. I hope I got that right. Look at the Pac-12 member schools starting in 2026. How many schools make the NCAA tournament? 5, 6? Compare that to the AAC, 1 or 2. You're not wrong.
Yeah, well, basketball.
And a basketball, listen, the Gonzaga move, unequivocally a win.
Yeah.
And if they get, I was talking to some folks yesterday who believe St. Mary's will not join the Pac-12. That St. Mary's wants to stay in the WCC because their Christian values more align with the WCC than the Pac-12. And if that's in fact true, and you wind up, because GCU, I am told almost directly, GCU has a lot of interest in joining the Pac-12. And I think if you add GCU and you add Gonzaga together, they're both going to the NCAA tournament pretty much every year. You look at San Diego State, that's a really good basketball program. Fresno State, I agree with you. That's a very good take. For basketball on its own, sure, I get that. But are you really valuing basketball at a higher level than football? Because my question is, how good of a league is the Pac-12? I think right now the Mountain West and the Pac-12, there's not a whole lot of differentiating between their football product, which is not good if you're the Pac-12. Now, if you had Memphis, Tulane, and USF,
different conversation.
Different conversation. Today, there's not a whole lot of differentiating. So is that agreement not to keep going back to it, is the agreement in the AAC binding? It's a huge
I
question.
have a hard time with the concept of the AAC would ask its member institutions to sign something that isn't binding, because
I agree.
if it's not binding, you're kind of just wasting people's time. Like,
Bradley Tunkel says, I got to run. Peace out, my guy. Have a good day. The Felon attorney. Disney had their big streaming sports channel held up in federal court on antitrust grounds. That was, I think you're talking about that collective streaming channel. Disney streaming, they're all in on ESPN Plus, and they're doing ESPN Plus is doing great. From golf, the Masters, the US, all the early round majors, ESPN Plus, like they're banging. NFL, college football, you name it, you get it on ESPN Plus. F1, they're doing great. Absolutely. All right, a couple more before we get to the NFL here. Calford. Yeah, because without Gonzaga, St. Mary's will most likely win the WCC. Totally agree. You're a West Coast guy. You understand that culture. The WCC is a really good league. If you are a small private institution, I don't know, like Gonzaga, it's a really good league.
Yeah.
If you're BYU basketball, where was BYU basketball before the Big 12? WCC. Private Christian university. That's what people, and I know this is controversial every time I say it, academics, theology, life is in the administration wing of where the chancellor's office is. Most of those people don't give a rat's ass about sports.
Yep.
They have to deal with sports. They don't necessarily want to. And I know that sucks, and I hate to break it to you.
Well, and I think for a lot of sports fans, that's taboo. What do you mean they don't want to?
But at St. Mary's, their Christian values are far more important than athletics. At BYU, they are owned and operated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No, I am not Mormon. No, I am not a member.
Well, and you're not dying. So
I'm not dying either.
Yeah.
And I'm not blessed. I'm not fat.
And this is an SEC show that doesn't.
Somebody in the
SEC.
comment section yesterday called me husky. Okay. That's fine. Don Juan 914. San Diego State beats Gonzaga every time when they play each other. Maybe. BYU used to beat Gonzaga on a pretty regular basis. Dr. Sean Douglas. Hello. There's a massive amount of differentiating. What do you mean? In terms of what? Look at your pup. God love dogs. Why in the hell did Memphis, Tulane, and USF and UNLV sign anything till the dust settled? Because
if there's private money working behind the scenes and you're going to get, 15 or 20 a year from a hedge fund that's coming in,
and I'll just continue to say it, because the chancellor and the president of your university wants their books balanced. And they want to know what money's coming in and what money's going out and how much do you understand that Memphis, again, Dr. Ed Scott straight up said, I'm not paying that much to go travel to the West Coast. They lowballed us. And if you're Tim Pernetti in the AAC, what are you doing in that memo of understanding, memorandum of whatever the flip it's called?
It's an MOU.
In that MOU, which is not edible. What I'm telling you is they're saying, hey, we're driving more private money. We're trying to renegotiate our TV deal, and the new TV deal will give Memphis, Tulane, and USF, I'm told, they're going to do unequal revenue sharing. Why wouldn't you? But my guess is, and I know I am not inventing the wheel on this, aren't you going after UTSA? Oh, Memphis doesn't want to be here. Okay, what about UTSA? We'll pay half of your exit fee. Does UTSA want to be in a higher profile? I don't know. UTSA is a hell of an athletic department. All right. One paid comment, then we got to get to the NFL. P Breeze 84, $2. Reality is no one cares about the AAC. See, and I just disagree with that.
Yeah, that's just not. Yeah.
I disagree.
Appreciate the tip, dude.
Memphis and Tulane are playing a hell of a lot of quality football. USF is breaking ground on a brand new on-campus stadium. People care.
Look at right below that. San Diego State.
Oh, by the way, 90 minutes in and not one YouTube commercial. Really? That means we're not making a lot of bread on this show. Have you guys hit the like button? Oh, come on. We're at like 2,500 views and we only have 66 likes. Dadgummit.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. That would be very much appreciated. I think people do care about the AAC. I disagree with that. I totally disagree with it. Whoa. Check it out. F off. Phil Benzer at his level best this morning. T equals when the Memphis ad said no extra money was given from the AAC to them. Well, we'll see. Because there's got to be a reason you're staying in that conference more than it. Private money is going to play a big role in it. It's going to play a huge role. It's going to play a hit. Mr. Ed Wayner, I just hit the like button. Thank you, Ed. Phil Fenzer, the reason we stayed was $25 million in the ability to leave at our discretion. You mean UNLV? Phil Fenzer's in Vegas and a huge UNLV guy. The Chad Carter. I'm like number 67, you casuals. Pump up those numbers. Yes, please.
Come on, bro.
If you're here, please hit the like button as we
those
talk.
numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
The National Football League. Thursday night football tonight. Prime Video, which is where the Pac-12 would like to be. Pete the Mole, Bruce Feldman. Nobody cares about the AAC. That's why everybody's talking about it. Thursday night football. Buccaneers at Falcons. Falcons are 2.5 points. That game's at home in Atlanta. So you're telling me without telling me that you think the boys in Vegas think that the Bucs are going to win this game. 43.5 is number 815 Prime Video Sports. How good is Baker Mayfield? I think this is a huge conversation. I don't hate Baker Mayfield. Let's get this out of the way before people freak out again, because when I said this earlier in the year, Big 12 flyover conference fans lost their minds over it. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, but he is by no stretch of the imagination great. Do you buy Baker Mayfield as a franchise quarterback?
I mean, I think for the Bucs, like they've made that bet and made that investment, and I'm a big believer in the NFL specifically. Like, you either have a quarterback or you don't. Like, you either have that guy that can lead your team and the guys believe in and the guys will follow, or you don't. The teams that don't have quarterbacks typically struggle. So is Bake a franchise guy? Well, yeah, for the Bucs, he is a franchise guy. Absolutely. Now, does he, have franchise guy written all over him the way that Jaden Daniels does or Joe Burrow did at one point, or, Dak does? No, he probably doesn't have that same sort of, just way over the top ability. But what I do think Baker brings to the table is a guy who understands how to lead his teammates, and a guy who typically is pretty low drama. I think that that's something we're seeing in the league. Like, we're going to talk about the Cowboys here and a couple other situations in a minute. Think about how low drama Baker has been through his career. Yes, he struggled prior in his career. Yes, he did. But he's bounced back and he's proven himself and he's proven his worth. And so for me, that's why I say, yes, I think Baker is a franchise guy right now at this point in his career, because he's shown you that he can, in fact, lead this team. He's shown you that he knows how to prepare. He knows how to not make the huge, just game-wrecking mistake, and he can help you go out and win. And in this game, when you're going on the road to play an Atlanta team that's frankly gotten off to a pretty solid start here, all things considered, and you're playing against a quarterback in Kirk Cousins who has been, for most of his career, a 4,000-yard per season passer, that you're going to have to move the football tonight. That you can't just lean on your defense all night to make this win come true. You're going to need to come out and ball. And that's why I say, like, tonight on Prize Picks, I've got, I don't want anything to do with playing game totals in this game, because I think it's going to be close and I think it's going to be up and down. But what I do want in this game is I want first quarter fast starts, because that's what I think this game is going to be about. I think if you're the Bucs, you got to come out, get off to a fast start. I think if you're Kirk Cousins, you're playing at home, you've looked good, you've looked comfortable. The Achilles hasn't really been a problem. So to me, on Prize Picks, I took Kirk Cousins more than 47.5 in the first quarter for passing yards. Yeah. And I think that that's a pretty safe play. I think that on that first drive, they will come out, they'll move it down the field. That may result in a field goal, but they'll have productive drives to start this game. So for me, yes, I think Baker's a franchise guy, but I also think that this game is going to be very hard to predict the ultimate outcome in.
Ooh, I think I like Kirk Cousins more than I like Baker Mayfield. I think that this line's very interesting, though. I like that Bucs defense. There's a lot of dysfunction in Atlanta. I think you take the Bucs to win. I think it does go over. And I love Kirk Cousins in this game. I think one of the better questions is who's got the better quarterback situation, because I do think Big Penix energy, Michael Penix in Atlanta, there is a real temptation to start him. And I don't think they should do it. We were debating this before the show started in our vaunted pre-show meeting.
Right.
I think I've moved more and more to your thinking on this, that I think you should let him sit behind Kirk Cousins.
Well, I just, there were a lot of questions about why they brought Kirk Cousins in. Like, why'd you sign him and then go out and draft Michael Penix? What was the thought there? And the thought very clearly is, hey, Kirk Cousins is a 3-year Band-Aid at most, and we want to give Michael Penix Jr. the opportunity to develop and to learn how to read defenses, to learn how to master this offense. And I think, if you look around the league, the young quarterbacks who struggle typically have like 4 or 5 offensive coordinators and go through different systems, and there's a bunch of unreliability, and it's just brutal on them. So I think in Atlanta, they're trying to say, hey, we need a fresh start and we need reliability.
I think you let him learn. Kirk Cousins is a really good mentor. He's not a half-bad quarterback, even though he's that guy that everybody always undersells. I understand he has a propensity in those big moments to not do big things. He shrinks. Totally get that. But what I'm telling you is Michael Penix is going to be there next year. Let him learn from Kirk Cousins this year, because I think if we are learning anything from the Love situation in Green Bay, sitting behind a veteran quarterback is not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
And I look at some of the rookies starting in this league. Bo Nix obviously is really struggling. Caleb Williams is really struggling. I think you look at Jaden Daniels as an outlier. I don't think that, Jaden Daniels is not the typical rookie performer. I more look at, I think rookie quarterbacks are very dangerous.
Right.
I wish that, that every rookie quarterback could sit behind a Kirk Cousins. But
and
frankly,
when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
That's not the reality of it. And I look at Baker Mayfield. The fans in Cleveland are pining for Baker Mayfield, which I don't understand. But you're constantly looking at the quarterback who was or who's going to be instead of the guy who is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the Atlanta Falcons, don't fall into that trap, because Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback coming back from this Achilles injury. I think he's done a decent job. He's gotten better every week, right? But veteran quarterbacks matter. Look at what Sam Darnold's doing in Minnesota right now. That's a guy, you want to talk about a guy that's struggled under the weight of a bad franchise.
Yes.
Look at Bryce Young in Carolina, who can't wait for the Red Rocket and Andy Dalton to come back to Chicago this week. Go Bears. You've got to get the quarterback situation right. And so many teams in this league have gotten it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
In Atlanta, you had it wrong. I think you have a chance to get it right if you don't panic and put Michael Penix in. You're not a Super Bowl team now, so don't try and force the rookie quarterback in. Let Kirk Cousins mentor him. Let him watch and learn. And I also worry about him as an injury guy as well. He stands in the pocket a lot and he gets hit. He's not. I think we saw that at Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be in a hurry at all.
Well, I think some of the best quarterbacks in the league right now are great examples of it, right? I mean, obviously, well documented. Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith, but I also think, we need to be careful how far we stretch hey, he sat behind a guy, so that experience is why he's still successful today. Like guys like Pat, or Jared Goff, or they're even Jordan Love, like you said, right? I mean, these guys have the opportunity to understand. First of all, how do you even prepare in the NFL? I think that's something people don't talk about. Like, hey,
what does that look like?
What does that look like?
How
What's
do you
that
watch
process
film?
Like, yeah, like what am I looking for?
I think that this situation tonight's very interesting. I'm taking the Bucs to win outright, and I think it goes over. Bucks and Falcons. What do you guys make of Baker Mayfield? I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's a good quarterback.
But this dynamic of, hey, right now in the NFL, you either have a guy or you don't. There is no in between. Like,
I agree.
Like, and you brought up like Cleveland and all these fans.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys, right? I mean, you either have a guy or you don't. And I think it's a really tough thing in the league right now.
It is. All right, let's get your comments. And Donut says, let him sit. Don't Bo Nix him.
Seriously.
Okay. Brandon Butler. Sam Darnold is a franchise QB on the Vikings. Purdy on the Niners. Is Aaron a franchise QB on the Jets? Aaron Rodgers.
How are we defining franchise guy, though?
This guy is going to take us to a Super Bowl. This guy. Hey,
this guy over here.
Brock Purdy is going to take us to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield's, no, he's not. Kirk Cousins, probably not.
But is
Dak Prescott.
I don't think Super Bowl for most organizations in the league is what they're saying. Just playoffs. That's what I think the bar is now.
But I hate that conversation so much.
But I think it's
do you want to be good or do you want to be great?
No, I think most organizations just want to go to the playoffs. And if you win a Super Bowl once out of every 10 years, you're fine with that.
Then why do you fire coaches? But if you're Carolina, do you win a Super Bowl once every 10 years? If you're the Chicago Bears, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you don't have a quarterback in Indianapolis. You don't. Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy because a guy can't stand in the pocket. Do you have a franchise quarterback in Baltimore? I think you paid him. Is he a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Not yet. But
will he ever be?
If I said to you, hey, Lamar took him to the Super Bowl, no one would be surprised by that.
I would be surprised by that. Joe Flacco. No. Like the guy starting in this league
Joe
are
at one
terrifying.
point was.
Daniel
Joe
Jones
at one point was. No, Daniel Jones, no one's saying he's taking you to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I like CJ Stroud in Houston.
Yeah, I think CJ can be a franchise guy. Absolutely.
Again, Nick Chubb is back at practice.
Yeah.
For the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And here's it's a huge question. Is Deshaun Watson a franchise level Super Bowl quality quarterback? He was in Houston. There's no doubt before the washcloth incidents, he was a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And I again will say, I'll stand on business and tell you, I'm seeing what I saw in Houston out of Deshaun Watson. And if you get Nick Chubb back, do you think his teammates are excited about having Nick Chubb back?
That's us. Yeah, that's us. Hot Chubb Day. Yeah, on the camera. Yeah, Tufo. Yeah, Tufo. Have a good day now. Be great.
You look at that.
Welcome back, Tufo. Welcome back.
Listen to them yelling for him and dapping him up. And
look at this.
Is that Nick Chubb? Circle here, man.
That's a franchise that loves their running back. Now, do they love Deshaun Watson? I don't know. Jury's out on that. But here's what I know. Does Nick Chubb make Deshaun Watson a better quarterback?
Yes.
And if he gets back in the lineup in the next 3 weeks, yes, he does. But all the people being like, well, Nick Chubb is squatting 500, 600 pounds. Why can't he play? Well, do you not understand that squatting 600 pounds in a weight room is very different than jump cutting through the A gap against NFL linebackers?
Well, and running guys over, right? I mean, Nick Chubb's signature ability as a running back is the physical ground and pound, run you the hell over when you thought you were going to slow me down type running back style of football. And I think that, the thing is, like, I think with Deshaun, I would agree that we don't know if he can get back to that level yet, but what we do know is he's progressing. And I think all things considered, right? Because we have the ability to do that as fans and observers and commentators and hosts. Hey, hey, your O-line is crappy, this, that, whatever. But the quarterback is still making good decisions, like Dak last year. Hey, he's throwing all these interceptions, but it's just it's this whole thing in Cleveland where they just have to put it together a little bit. But I would agree that the question of are you a franchise guy or not, to me is a straightforward question. How much are you being paid? Number one. But then number two, are you a good leader, right? Like that's where I give Baker a lot of credit. Baker to me is a really good leader of men. Like, guys follow him. He's great in the locker room. Deshaun, I think, is improving on that, without being there, without being in that locker room every day, covering them intimately. Like, to me, it looks like Deshaun is improving in that area. Now, the problem for Deshaun and a lot of guys in the league is that you're getting paid so much money. It's the Tua syndrome, right? You're being paid so much money and you're not available in Miami for your team. And nobody, frankly, is surprised that you're unavailable. That's the problem. So I can't honestly sit here and be like, yeah, Tua's a franchise guy. Is there a clear fall off? Yes, there is. But you can't be a franchise guy if you're that prone to injury. And that's what I think is difficult. So to me, yes, Baker Mayfield is a franchise guy for the Bucs. Yes, he can lead them to the playoffs. If everything were to break perfectly, I could see a conference championship game. I'm sure I could see the Super Bowl.
I'm very curious if Jared Goff could win a Super Bowl for Detroit. I'm very curious if you put, again, Deshaun Watson with a healthy Nick Chubb, who, again, this is a second major knee injury for him.
Yeah.
If you put Nick Chubb, and it would help if, Conklin and Teller and everybody else hurt on that offensive line were actually, playing.
Right.
But if you put Nick Chubb behind Deshaun Watson in a serviceable offensive line, I think he can win you a Super Bowl. He's running again. He is far more accurate the last week than he had been. I don't know, man. I think you either have it or you don't. Justin Fields in Pittsburgh, not a Super Bowl quarterback. Is Jared Goff a guy you believe can lead you to and win you a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Because the Rams didn't think so. And when they got rid of him, what happened? Well, they had a quarterback that could win a Super Bowl, and they did. So I think Detroit's in a very interesting situation now. I think you are a really good football team, and I still think you have some questions on defense. There's no question they should win that division.
Yes.
There's no question they should go to the NFC Championship game. There's no question. And it's going to be Jared Goff, I think, that's a deciding factor.
Well, and I also think, again, it comes back to this preparation piece because, again, they get deep in the playoffs last year and you fall apart. And that's where NFL playoff football tends to eat people alive who just are not ready for the moment. And so, I think, there's a lot of people, like, just a good example. There's a lot of people right now on social media who are watching old Tom Brady footage and being like, man, like, you put a Tom Brady clip of him scrambling around the pocket and delivering for a touchdown next to a modern quarterback, and we had no idea what we were watching. And I think that some of those guys in today's world suffer from that. Like, we don't appreciate what the escapability of Lamar is. I agree, he's not a polished passer, but the guy is an absolute savage running the football. Like,
but what am I going to say?
Can he deliver it to win a ball game?
At some point,
and
if
he
you
hasn't
want to
shown
win
the
a
ability.
Super Bowl, you have to stand in the pocket and deliver the football.
Yeah.
I would
disagree.
I'd rather have Jared Goff in a Super Bowl winning moment than Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen.
Boy, that's a big question. Josh Allen's an interesting one.
But he's no doubt about it, a franchise guy.
Everybody would say he's a franchise quarterback. Do you want him in the biggest moment throwing the football? Not sure I do. Not sure I do. Joe Burrow or Josh Allen?
Oh, Josh Allen right now. I think Josh Allen. Joe Burrow is an interesting example because I think people have lost faith in him.
I agree.
As you should have.
Because he's not healthy.
Yeah.
But now haven't we seen last week, certainly the last couple of weeks, haven't we seen him and Jamar Chase get back together?
Improving. Yes.
Absolutely. And Goff, I trust. I understand why. The mayor of Montytown. I'm not going to read the mayor university. It's the mayor of Montytown, sir.
Be better.
Good morning. Good to see you, my friend.
How do you not have a Caruso and OKC gear set up?
And donuts. NFL is turning into a run-first league. Pass defense has become unreal.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, though?
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are getting crushed at an unreal level right now. And I think you're seeing that offensive line play and athletic ability up front in the NFL has gotten significantly better, while offensive line play has gotten significantly worse. And it is getting more and more difficult in this league, the NFL, to keep your offensive line healthy and keep guys off of your quarterback. I mean, I still maintain the biggest problem that Dallas has now is Micah Parsons is out with this high ankle sprain. He's not going to play this week. That's a huge loss for them. Why? Because you have to have a guy that you can say, all right, the leash is off, go get the quarterback, dude.
Right.
And Dallas does not have that. And DeMarcus Lawrence is hurt. So I think it is.
Yeah.
Running the football in the NFL is important. I think throwing the football to your running backs is really important. And you better have a quarterback that can slide up in the pocket and get rid of the football in 2.5 seconds at most. At most. And why hasn't Devontae Adams been traded yet? Why? It better happen. Jimmy Otson, hello. Was Phillip Rivers considered a franchise quarterback? He was, but they never won. And he had LT. He was not polished enough in big moments to win for them.
Well,
he threw too many interceptions.
Yeah.
Is really what it was about. Thomas Reed. There are maybe 4 or 6 true franchise quality quarterbacks in the league. The rest are solid playoff QBs, but not really franchise. Totally agree. Steely Matt Chubb is a bad dude. Yes, he is.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're the Browns, like somehow you had all of these issues to start the year, but it feels like you're sort of turning this corner, right? Like Deshaun's improving, Nick Chubb's going to get back here. Like, if you can just get, just sensible, just decent, like average offensive line play.
Yep. Ferris Khan says Goff had more TD receptions in the last game than he had incompletions. Didn't even get a game ball for that. How about that Philly special that Detroit ran?
It's nice, dude.
They're on a heater. This is what scares. This is the best part and the worst part, and what scares you about being a Lions fan. You've got to win a Super Bowl right now because you got it good. Appreciate what you have now because everything is fleeting. It's only temporary. Because in the NFL, who are you? The New England Patriots? Who are you? The Kansas City Chiefs? These dynasty level organizational runs are so rare. The Detroit Lions have to win a Super Bowl now because you're looking at young quarterbacks coming into this division with the Bears and the Packers. And if Jordan Love hadn't gotten hurt, I think you feel like that's a Super Bowl. And I think not that they were bad without him, but he had just gotten paid.
He's clearly a good quarterback, dude.
What Sam Darnold's doing in Minnesota, what Caleb Williams is going to do in Chicago if they ever get an offensive line, like you got to win a Super Bowl right now, Detroit. That there's a lot of pressure to do that. Stadium guy. Baker Mayfield is good enough to get you to a Super Bowl as long as he has Mike Evans at wide receiver. That dude is amazing, but he's old and it's wear and tear on Mike Evans. That's why they're supposedly one of the teams that called on Devontae Adams because Mike Evans is not a number one option anymore.
Yeah.
And it's as a wide receiver, man, it's so tough to have longevity as an elite wide receiver. Very tough. Giggity. Lions have to win a Super Bowl because Dan Campbell doesn't want to move again. I totally agree. I hate fans. Why would you do that to Dan Campbell? Teenage boys and their lust. Tony Barber, a boy who was affectionate towards Dan Campbell's daughter, put his address on the internet. So Dan Campbell had to sell his house and move because fans were coming to his house after they would lose. Not good. Tony, I remember Jared Goff's first game versus Oregon was 3-15 multiple turnovers. How far he's gone now? Yeah, indeed he has. He's a good quarterback. He's another guy who's got to have a ring to prove it because he's not somebody that is flamboyant. Like if Tom Brady had one ring, Joe Montana. But Tom Brady's got 37 rings, so it's like he's the greatest of all time.
Jared Goff is this generation's Eli Manning. He's got to win one.
Yeah, and I think if they win one, they're going to win back-to-back. Because once you learn how to win it, it almost unlocks a code.
Yeah.
Right? So a solid foundation veterans get you to the hill. The franchise guy gets you over it. Totally agree. Kirk Mason, Lions defense looks better this year, but they still have a propensity to give up the big play at the wrong time.
And I don't know if that's play calling, if that's, it is their Achilles heel without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think it is for me. I think the talent is there now. The talent is there. And what I think is interesting is when you look at the Lions in pass defense, they're middle of the pack. They're just above the Panthers and Packers, which is not good.
Yeah.
Not good. And you start looking at the completion percentage. I mean, like the elite in the NFL is the Texans at 57%. And then you try to go find the Lions, they're giving up 66.5%. That's not good. And you start looking at numbers in pass defense that matter. And you see the Lions are giving up 7 yards of completion, that they've given up over 1,000 yards. They've given up 1,104 yards of passing offense. Better does not mean good, right? Better does not mean good.
Yeah.
Are the Dallas Cowboys a playoff team? I don't think they are, especially with all these injuries on the defensive line with Parsons and Lawrence. When you start looking at the issues they have, I mean, Brandon Cooks is out again. I mean, you're really CeeDee Lamb and everybody else. You can't run the ball. You're injured at wide receiver. You're injured at defensive end.
Yeah, the only thing that gives us hesitation of saying they're not a playoff team is a star on their helmet and Jerry Jones saying that they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Other than that, they're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm telling you, like if we, you go around the league and you look at teams in a similar situation, we're like, yeah, they're not a playoff team. What are we talking about? No. And I think that's what's hard with Dallas is, that division they play in is super vulnerable. It's insane to me that Washington's sitting on top of it. And, you're like, oh, wow, like this is a change in the guard here. But neither of the other three inspire confidence. And the Cowboys lead the way in that department. I'm not confident that you can come out and just beat anybody. I'm not confident that,
I'm not either.
that you have the firepower, the cohesiveness, just the overall, team chemistry to go out and beat teams. And I think the reaction to, just getting, torched the other week, wasn't great. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence saying that it said something similar to like, hey, dudes need to grow up. Like, we got to stop playing hero ball. All these guys talking.
And now he's hurt with this Liz Frank injury that doesn't involve broken bones, thankfully.
I don't know. I just think it's super dysfunctional.
It is. And now Micah's out again with a high ankle sprain. Brandon Cooks is not going to play. And they have the Steelers on Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh this week. Then it's Detroit at 49ers, at Atlanta, Philadelphia, Texans, at Washington.
Hey, you're not a playoff team, dude.
That's your schedule leading up to Thanksgiving.
You're not a playoff team, bro.
Good luck.
You're going to need help in the division to still be in that race. Like, you're going to need those guys to lose games. And what is, can you pull up Washington's schedule real quick? What does Washington have? Because
you mean the 3-1 NFC East leading Washington Commanders?
Yeah.
The Commanders are home for the Browns this weekend, at Baltimore, Carolina, the Bears, at the Giants, Pittsburgh, at the Eagles, Cowboys. That leads them up to Thanksgiving.
See, that's favorable to me. Like, you're good enough to beat the Cowboys. You're good enough to beat the Eagles.
And if you had any sense of footballing in Philadelphia or New York, the division would probably be open. But right now, I would have to lean to Washington to win the Commanders to win the NFC East. Right now, today, if you're asking me, yes, I think they're by far the best team in that division.
Yeah.
And if we really want to get carried away, and well, who doesn't?
Right.
I look at the AFC. I think the AFC, because I don't believe in Kansas City. That's well documented on this show. They're the ones that need Devontae Adams, but supposedly they're not going to go get him. How is Pittsburgh third in the AFC right now with Justin Fields as their quarterback?
Because he's been playing better.
That's wild. Buffalo at 3-1. And then you look at the Jets, and I agree. Somebody asked about Aaron Rodgers earlier. Dysfunctional. The Buffalo Bills are the team with the opportunity here, but their schedule's pretty favorable. The Bills, they're at the Jets, and I think, at the Texans this week. Then you're at the Jets on Monday Night Football. Home for the Titans, at the Seahawks, home for the Dolphins, at the Colts. That leads you up to a stretch that is ball-breaking, because then the Bills are Chiefs, Niners, at the Rams, at the Lions, Patriots, Jets, at the Patriots.
Damn.
So you got to make hay now if you're Buffalo.
Yeah.
Take control of the division in the conference right now and try to find a way not to get swept with Chiefs, Niners, Rams, Lions. Because the biggest problem is that Rams game is on the road, and I think they're vulnerable at home. I don't think, the Buffalo Bills are a very interesting situation. Very, very interesting situation.
Yep.
So as far as who's the best team in the NFL right now, I still don't think we know that. I don't think we know that.
No.
Stepanek, everyone doubted Kansas City last year too, and they won the Super Bowl, but it's different this year. The Rashee Rice injury, I think he's a good wide receiver, but it truly is a tipping point for them. And I don't mean to keep ripping Travis Kelce, but Taylor Swift has ruined that guy's hip flexation. Travis Kelce's not the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to come out and prove that he is. And my question is, without Pacheco and Rashee Rice in that offense, you lack a lot of explosiveness. Is Xavier Worthy ready to be that guy 3 downs every single week? Is he a 3-down wide receiver every single week?
They need him to be. I know who is a 3-down receiver every day, and that would be Rashee Rice's mother, package stealing.
How about this story? Did you guys, Rashee Rice, apparently, I'm not going to say that. Rashee Rice's mom got caught stealing a package off a porch. She goes walking to the right. Oh, well, what are you looking at? Looking down. Okay. Well, there she goes.
She moves it.
Mama Rice. Rashee Rice's mom.
Oh.
Kicks the package, bends down and picks it up, and got caught on camera doing it.
What are you doing?
Wearing a jersey that says Mama Rice.
What the hell are you doing?
This is one of the... Nobody said criminals were smart. But now you've shown us that you're not the brightest bulb in the bunch, because... Did you really think that there was... Did you not know there was a doorbell camera there? Everybody's got doorbell cameras, ma'am. And you're not going to see jail time for this. But you got caught stealing a package off your neighbor's door.
Be better, man.
It makes my head hurt. I don't understand it. Giggity, exactly right. No way that's her first time doing it.
Nope.
And Donuts, bad look. Kirk Mason, LOL.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. Like, can I just ask, Sir, can I ask, what was your motivation for stealing that package?
Well, money. Don't have a lot of money. Need resources,
So Mama Rice, are you telling me your son who plays in the NFL isn't supporting you? You don't have a job? You don't have income? He's not. Why are you stealing? Isn't this the thrill of the crime? Isn't that, you can't tell me that she?
It's a bad look all the way around, bro. And I don't know
why. Why do this?
I think it's hilarious that you did it in that jersey. Like, do you have no thought to? Oh yeah. Yeah, probably shouldn't be wearing a Mama Rice jersey while I steal a package.
I don't get it. Yes, Caruso. Good Lord, she even knew a camera was there because she kicked the package out of the way.
What I think is funny is she hesitates at first. Like, she hesitates and then just goes in for it.
So there's the little girl. And here comes Mama Rice.
Now scoping it out.
Notice she looked down and then looked for a camera so she knew it was there. Kicking the package. Notice she's got a red Solo cup in her hand too.
And thought that the camera couldn't see her there.
What are you doing?
Yeah, nice job.
How that's just
a terrible
so dumb,
look, dude.
With a red Solo cup in your hand.
Come on.
Oh my God.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
Like, what are you doing? He gave her a jersey. Damn, chill. Well, you can't come on, be better than that. Calford, she was pulling a Winona. Exactly. Why do famous people commit crimes and think they're going to get away with it? You're not getting away with it. You're not getting away with it. Kirk Porch Pirate. Yes. So smooth, Mama Rice. Exactly. Good Lord, the Solo Cup, right?
Yeah.
I think the red Solo Cup finishes off the look, the fit. Did you guys notice? You're telling me you didn't notice. And it's with your kid, by the way. Oh, look, red Solo Cup.
It's almost like she's displaying it, the way she holds it.
But look, there goes the kid. Just keep kicking the can down the street, Mom. Nope, gonna bend over and pick it up. What are you saying to your little girl about this? Oh, well, it was my package. It's just they delivered it to the wrong door.
Hey, honey, if you're gonna porch pirate, let's make sure that we don't wear the Mama Rice jersey and we cover our face. Okay, thank you.
What are you doing? Kleptomaniac, maybe. Caruso sucks. Thank you, Mayor McCluskey. What are you doing? She must have learned how to steal from the Cam Rising School of NIL.
Okay. See, we had almost made it the whole show without going down the Cam Rising road, bro.
So we have and I was going to save it for Football Friday, but apparently we can't do that. I hesitate to put this graphic up. I want to make this clear. I did come up with. Is Utah, bro? Are the Utah Utes dealing with Fingergate?
Oh my God! Just like that.
Stop it! Stop it,
bro,
dude. There's Cam Rising's hand. Now, if you're a 12-year-old like Jake, you send this picture to me and you say, God damn it, I'm tired of this guy's fingers. No. Jake immediately sends me this picture yesterday. This is Cam Rising's hand. Ladies, settle down. Ladies. This is Cam Rising's hand clearly signing an autograph. And he has 2 splints on his fingers. God damn it, broken, they're lying to us. First of all, why would they tell you the truth about the injury on his hand? You entitled jerk. They're lying to us, Jake said to me. I'm tired of their bullying. They're lying to us.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
Clearly.
Why wouldn't they scheme?
Because at some point, you have to be. You don't have to divulge the full extent of the injury, but to say dude cut his hand and he's a game time decision against Utah State was incredibly inaccurate and just wrong.
How do you know that?
Because if you were a game time decision against Utah State, you wouldn't be still wearing that.
Oh, really? There's tell no Dr.
way,
Jake.
Bro. There's no way.
He clearly, if you look at his FU finger, he has a bandage on that finger. He is dealing with a gash on that finger. And my guess is he has mobility issues on those fingers. That is his throwing hand. And he is unable to grip a football. As Kyle Whittingham has said, he was unable to drive the football down the field. That does not mean his fingers are broken. Ladies, take it easy. His fingers are fine.
Yeah, I'm not buying it, dude.
I
think he fractured his fingers.
I don't think he did. I think that he probably has a gash on those fingers and he has some kind of sprain of some sort. If it was broken, if his fingers were fractured, would he be trying to throw a football? No, he would not. Would he be practicing all week? Which he has been. No, he would not. Utah fans are just, oh my God, a picture of Cam Rising's fingers. Like, relax. It's a bye week. My guess is he plays after the bye week.
Sir, they're idle.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're idle this week. I just love this. Fans are like, how dare you give us coach speak? Why would he say anything else? Why would he say anything else? Why would Kyle Whittingham be like, yeah, he broke his fingers, we're screwed. Freshman will be out there all year. Freshman will be out there all year. Hey, Kenny Dillingham, go ahead, tune it up. Our freshman quarterback's going to play in 2 weeks. Why would you do that? Did you like in this Kyle Whittingham answer the other day where Witt's having to talk about if Cam Rising actually wants to play football?
Cam's taken a lot of heat the last 2 years over his injuries. Not stuff that he can control, but is there anything maybe in how you handle injury reports or kind of the extent of how you process that maybe can help that process? I know you can't control that either, but like, is there anything that way that can help?
All I'll say is Cam Rising wants to play worse than anybody, and when he's able to, he will. And it's not like he's been, just able to play and not going. That's not the case. I'm not sure what you mean when they say he's taking heat. I'm never on social media. I don't know anything that's going on out there, so I don't know where that's coming from. But I can tell you for certain that he wants to play, and as soon as he gets the go-ahead, he will play, and we hope it's this next game.
Okay, can you, Jake, why don't you go ahead?
The face.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and just rip Kyle Whittingham now because he won't talk about injuries.
I'm not trying to rip Whit.
And hey, Kenny Dillingham, did you see this? Do you want us to send this over to you so you guys can prepare for not having Cam Rising? Because Witt just said Cam Rising sucks and he's never going to play again. Why would Kyle Whittingham talk about Cam's injury?
I get it. He wouldn't. I think you're missing the point on this, dude. The point is we're sitting here trying to play a game of chicken about whether Cam's going to start or not. That's what the problem is. That's what the burnout is, dude. Would you be shocked
if he started against Arizona
Yes.
State? I would not.
Yes, I would be shocked.
I'd expect him to start. And the truth of the matter is Isaac Wilson's more than capable of winning games. He's a freshman, so you're going to have performances like you had against Arizona. Are you better with Cam Rising? Yes. Is it Fingergate? Probably. Is it more enjoyable to call it? Is it more enjoyable to call it Fingergate? It is. I always think it's ridiculous that fans are like, you need to talk about this injured player and you need to tell us right now today on Monday when he's coming back. No, I don't. He's day-to-day with a finger injury. Well, how long is Micah Parsons going to be out? Well, he's going to be out at exactly 17 days from next Thursday. And so he's going to miss all these games coming up. Why would you do that? Why would
nobody's asking them to do that, dude? I think the problem is that
and then there's this. Didn't Ron McBride recruit Cam Rising back in the 70s? Caruso. And listen,
Cam does wear a headband, by the way.
Mayor McCluskey here is a BYU fan. BYU fans living high on the hog right now. You guys are loving life as you should.
Now we're winning ball games and you guys are playing Fingergate. I want to apologize. Wait, let me single up. I would like to apologize for you for coming up with Fingergate because the children
Don't lie to me.
The children on this show can't contain themselves. It's fine. It is
sort of a natural reflex.
It is for you. You're a child.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
It does. Listen, I always laugh at people who are like, the coach needs to tell us when he's going to be healthy and play. No, he doesn't.
Well, Monty, he's healthy enough. He's healthy enough to sign pictures of Caleb Williams holding a football with, nails that say F Utah, but he's not healthy enough to play the game. What the hell?
Caruso sucks. Yeah, suck it, Utah. We know how to win it. Oh, God, I love BYU fan. And it feels good to be a BYU fan right now. We didn't do Big 12 power rankings today. Like we were supposed to for the third day in a row.
We're too busy talking about Fingergate, bro. What do you want from us, dude?
Oh my God.
Stay home. I love that show.
Relax.
It's the truth. It's the truth, man. How long is, Cam going to be out because of this or that or the other? At what point do we get, some sense of reliability, man.
Never. When he's under center to start the Arizona State game.
Yeah.
And they owe you nothing more than that. It's HIPAA. Remember that?
Yeah, whatever.
Can't talk about it because it's HIPAA, bro.
Yeah, money.
You know what? HIPAA? Yeah. The defendant has rights. You can't talk about it. It's HIPAA, Dak. Right?
I think that's HIPAA.
It is HIPAA. Right? We're not talking about Cam's fingers. Don't. Anyway. Okay. Which is fine. Caruso sucks. How to properly use our fingers. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, can Cam create a Cam Rising finger brace? I'd buy that.
The stadium guy, James. I trust Kyle Whittingham way more than I trust Gundy. Cam will play when he's cleared.
See, and I want credit from you, James. We've done a great job staying away from your boy this week.
I have not ripped Mike Gundy more than 17 times this week, which is a new record on the show. Right? So the felon attorney. BYU does have a national championship in the Utes. Well, they don't. Yes, they do. The original. Anyway. Snuka. Good to see you, Snuka. Cam wouldn't have broken fingers if he was derfing. You mean surfing? Okay. Derfing?
I'm not sure what derfing is.
I don't want to know what derfing is.
Yeah,
I'm not. No. Stepanek. Fingergate was Tim Walz at the Michigan game. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Thomas Reed, smart coaches absolutely don't tell all those details. Allow you to game the opponent. That's right. Roche, soak it, BYU. You're going to lose 4 games. While you can, ride the high, BYU. It's what I say about sports fans. It's a season. Your season currently is of winning. BYU is the second best team in this conference. Because I think Big 12 power rankings, Iowa State number 1, BYU number 2, K-State number 3. Right now, today, on October 3rd, those are my power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iowa State's the best team in the conference. Brandon Butler, enjoy the ride, Mayor. Pride goes before the fall. You know, Jeff Johnson, Cam Rising is the poster child for NIL theft.
Hey.
Take it from him. The felon attorney for $2. No NFL talk about Sacramento State. I think we broke the story again. I know we don't ever break stories,
bro.
You know, we don't ever talk about it. Never.
As the hyenas refer to it as, that's old news.
No, trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Sac State wants. Did you guys see Sac State and the Sacramento Kings have teamed together? Sacramento State men's and women's basketball now has the right to use Golden One Center, which is the arena the Kings play in, their beautiful brand new downtown stadium. They now have the permission of Vivek, the owner of the Kings, to play their games at Golden One Center. And why is he doing that? Because he wants to get them into the Pac-12.
Yeah, it's a good move.
They're aiming it, and you got dollars in Sacramento.
Yeah, bro.
Trust me when I say that.
Yeah.
Caruso sucks. Utah's ranked 36th in the Big 12. I believe that's true. UW fan Jim, looks like they are just trying to keep him from reopening the wound. That's what I think. If you destabilize it, it heals faster. Thanks, Monty. Yes, he is. Okay. Caruso sucks. Well, hey, if it works for BYU, why isn't everyone doing it? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm telling you, Big 12 power rankings, Iowa State, BYU, K-State 3. And then I think it's a crapshoot. If Cam Rising plays, I would put Utah number 1 in the conference. I can't right now because Cam Rising's not playing. You know, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think all the people that are like, oh, Arizona's better than Utah. Arizona's not better than Utah. They're not. Arizona's not is Arizona a top 5 team in the Big 12 right now? Is Arizona better than UCF? Depends on the day.
And where you're playing it.
Is Arizona better than Iowa State? Certainly not. Are they better than Is Arizona better than Colorado?
I don't think
that's
we can
really
say
tight,
that, dude. Yeah, that's close.
That's really tight. And I think you look at Utah, K-State, UCF, Colorado, BYU. And it's a good league right now. It's shocking how bad Kansas is. Shocking. Shocking. It's shocking. It's not shocking how bad Oak State is. I almost made it a whole show. It's not shocking how bad they are. So
there you go.
There you go. Always good to see you, friends. The Monty Show, always presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You've been in an accident? You get hit by a semi-truck? You're driving out there on Mountain View Corridor, getting murked by a semi-truck? Call the Advocates. In fact, you can chat with an injury attorney live online for free, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. Quality, risk-free advice. That's what you get at the Advocates. Hook it up. Tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. Football Friday tomorrow. Until then, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.